Hey guys, welcome back. Let's continue this module and look at why we program. Why do we program? Well, it's our job, isn't it? Not exactly, that's not so simple. We program because there's a business problem that has to be programmatically solved. But problem simply cannot be stated in one word, one line. So we go a step deeper and we arrive at a problem statement. So we have to accept the fact that everything in this world today is driven by business. So our problems. So problem statement arise out of business requirements. Why do we need an application? For example, a banking application. Okay. So there are two parts to it. There is a business requirement to do more with less. That's always been a business requirement. For most of the applications, it's always been do more with less. So that is where they want to hand over things from humans to machines. Machines work 24/7 without questioning anything. So that way they get most out of them. So that is a business requirement. So then comes so they create a problem statement. The problem statement might say that how do we do more with less? That's a very simply stated problem statement. So a problem statement will be more elaborate. Okay, now we will go back to our example which we have chosen in our program of a school day. The school's requirement is to showcase their students' accolades and achievements, so they need a stage. So to get that stage, they perform an annual day program. So this is how the flow is. There is a requirement which starts from showcasing and then a stage and then a program. So there could be two kinds of business requirements, or rather two kinds of requirements from a developer's perspective or from your perspective once you become a programmer. The functional requirements and a non-functional requirements, or we can also call operational requirements. What is a functional requirement? A function is basically, as stated earlier, is the actual task of a process that produces an output. So that's a functional requirement. For example, if you take your school day or an annual day case, okay, so the annual day is supposed to give you an output. What is it? It needs to gather people so that you can showcase your accolades and achievements. So that's the basic functional requirement of your entire program. So each of these will be split into your sub programs or functions, and each will have its own functional requirements. Okay, invocation, lighting the lamp and saying a prayer. So these are actually functional requirements. Any functional requirement that is not met is a functional bug. Okay, and it's going to not meet your customer's expectations. So functional requirements are those which actually from a user's perspective makes him feel that the software or the application is or the program is working. Okay, so it works when it meets all his functional requirements. Now what are non-functional requirements? Non-functional requirements are the requirements or the processes that enables the functions to run smoothly and flawlessly. For example, non-functional requirements could be number of audience, number of guests. So you need to be prepared. Functionally, the program will still go on with one guest or one audience, but non-functionally stated, you might say should be prepared for 1,000 audiences, for example. So that's a non-functional requirement. Or number of guests, that's a non-functional requirement. Since there are 1,000 audiences coming in, another non-functional requirements would be some safety precautions, having an emergency exit in the auditorium. Similarly, in a software field, A non-functional requirement could be server availability, backup, disaster measures, the performance of the server. These all fall under the non-functional requirements of your application. Entire crux is the problem statement. So any development or any application project that you start on will always start from a problem statement. Business problems are stated considering into account both functional and non-functional requirement. So that both all the stakeholders get a gist. So the problem statement should have a gist of what we are trying to achieve, so that customer knows that we understand his problem. Second, the programmer gets on the same page as the customer. So both are in sync so if both agree, yes, this is the problem statement, then you can be rest assured that the rest of the development will go through smoothly. Problem statement could also include everything, including the budget. Okay, at a very high level, you can even include that. Okay, so the customer is looking for a low budget product which suffices A, B, C, D, E, because these are the problems that he is encountering. So this could be also a problem statement. Okay, in our examples which we have taken, the annual day program, problem statement could be an annual day has to be organized for a school ABCD, whatever is the name, with the goal of showcasing the school culture, school achievements, school academic achievements, co-scholastic achievements, other talents of the school, marketing school beyond student, teachers and parents. That's one part. The second part can also consist the program should not last more than 3 hours, would have probably 5 guests and would have 500 audiences. So this is a gist. So in about a para or half a page, we cover every possible aspect of the program or the requirement, and we call it a problem statement. Now this is an assignment. You think about it, do it, because this is something we keep doing again and again and again and again, so that we will actually get accustomed to it in stating problems very well, so that we get into the same page very fast with our customers. So for example, here you take a everyday scenario, cooking as a basic requirement, and try to write a problem statement for the same. What are the functional, what are the non-functional, what are the high level requirements, and then your solution. So all these should be included in your problem statement as a gist. Functional requirement could be hunger, for example. Non-functional requirement could be hot food. Okay, so these kind of things you can think it over and write. And in your practical life also, always think about how do we bring them together and do it, so that the more you do, the more you practice in your real life, the better you become at it. Because as a programmer, developer, architect, designer, whatever you want to call yourself, at the end of the day, stating a problem statement becomes the best way to communicate how good you are in understanding the customer requirements. So a very well stated problem statement gives the customer the confidence that yes, he understands my problem and he is going to solve it. That's it. In this session, we will see more on how to get started or the basics of an application architecture in a next session. Till then, goodbye.